Hey guys, this is Mona with Real Estate 411. I'm so excited to bring to you today my interview with Clutter Bee. Margaret and Stetson started this business back in 2016, and it has just flourished into this Instagram sensation. They provide classes and really have a heart and passion to help others in the relocation business. So I'm excited to share the information. Please remember to subscribe and go like them on Facebook and Instagram because they have great information. You don't want to miss this. What do you have on social media right now? What platforms?
We have Instagram and Facebook, and you can find us all at the Clutter Bee.
You guys on YouTube as well?
No, we're not on YouTube, actually.
Oh, okay.
This is our YouTube experience, our first one. So now we are.
Sweet.
Now we're on YouTube.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. Please introduce yourselves.
I'm Margaret Sundin McCann, and I am the founder of the Clutter Bee and co-owner of the company.
And I'm Stetson Sundin. We're the mother-daughter team, and I'm the co-owner of the Clutter Bee as well. So we own the company together.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So I met Margaret actually at Chamber of Commerce. So we went to greeters every morning, and she had this grand idea of what she wanted to do with reorganizing space, relocating people, decluttering. And I watched this idea just bloom. I mean, your guys' Instagram is on point. I love the information that you guys share.
Thank you.
Please tell me, why did you start this decluttering and like the things that people dread doing, you guys are doing? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so my entire life, I wanted to start a substantial business, and I've always loved organizing. And kind of, Mona, you were sharing a little bit of yourself before we started this recording of growing up in an unorganized situation. And I did too. My parents were well off, and we lived in an upper middle class neighborhood, but they were business owners and they just didn't have time. So on the surfaces, everything looked tidy and clean, but behind the scenes in the closets and pantries and drawers, I mean, everything was always falling out. And so I think because of that, maybe because there was so much chaos and we were late for everything. I mean, it was awful. Our clocks were set 20 minutes ahead, and we never knew what time it was because every clock was different.
Right.
It was always a struggle. So I think that's where my passion for organizing came from, perhaps because I just love systems and being organized. But anyway, I've always wanted to start an organizing business. So kids grew up and everybody's now, well on their way. But I started the company, it's 2016 in June, and it was a passion. But I tell you, the reason why I started it then, honestly, is at the time I was working for a chiropractor. I'd gone through a divorce, and I had a job at a chiropractor's office, which I loved, here in Grants Pass. Worked there for 5 years, but I'd always wanted to travel abroad. My husband, Mike, has traveled all around the world through his life. He's just traveled everywhere. And I always wanted to go to Europe. I kept trying to coordinate the time with my office manager to have that 2 weeks, 3 weeks time, to travel. But when you work in a medical office, you don't have those luxuries. You have maybe 5, 6, 7 days at the most. That's not enough time to go to Europe. Mm-hmm. So I said to Mike, my husband, I said, the only way I'm going to be able to do this is if I start a company. I could start my organizing company right now, and then we could travel. So I started the company in June of 2016. I turned in my notice, and they're wonderful. I mean, I love the chiropractor in his office, and his office manager is his wife. Lovely, lovely people. And one of my dearest friends is a massage therapist. So but I said, I've got to do this, something I wanted to do. And I had full support. And in fact, my first customer for organizing came from one of the patients at the office. And anyway, it was so I started it, and I quit my job in July And then the entire month of October, my husband and I were in Europe for an entire month plus a couple of days. We went to Europe and we went to 6 different countries. We just traveled around, stayed in Airbnb, and it felt so good, but I did do a little prep before that. I'd been saving some money, and so I knew I could sustain myself and at least pay, the little bills that I had before. And that's how it started, because I wanted to travel. That was really what pushed me over the fence there to start it.
I heard a quote recently, and the quote was about not really necessarily lacking money, but we just lack ideas, right? And here you are, you're happy with your job, but there was a piece that was still missing that you still wanted to pursue. And it was the idea, right? The organizing idea that helped you get to achieve your goals. Yeah. And a matter of success really depends on your perspective and what success means to you. A lot of people think it's the money part of it, but for some of us, it's achieving those things to be able to travel and to have your free time. That's what success is. So Stetson, when you came on, you had your degree. I think I remember you had your degree in marketing, or?
Yeah, I went to University of Oregon, and I majored in design and I minored in business. So yeah, when I came on, it was 2018?
Yes, 2018? Around October of 2018.
Yeah, so my boyfriend and I were still living in Eugene, and I actually, right out of school, I thought my dream job, I was a marketing assistant, and I was doing all the marketing for this very, very large athletic club in Eugene. And so I was like, oh, I'm so excited. I'm going to work 9 to 5. I'm going to be I had 3 computers. I had my own office. I was like, I've made it. And then a few months in, I was like, this is so stressful. I hate this. I don't understand how people work 9 to 5. And so I just decided to just
not 9 to 5, right? Because
yeah. And I think it was because I had just finished school, and I was taking my finals. I got the job the week that I was taking my finals, and I was finishing off my job at Victoria's Secret. So I ran right into it, and I didn't really have a chance to just chill for a second. Because for me, I had a goal of graduating college when I was 20. So I took 20 credits in summer. I was go, go, go. Right. So I never really got a chance to just chill for a second. So I just actually after 3 months of that job, and I got such great experience, but I just decided to quit and not work for a minute. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know, but I think I just need to not do anything. Yeah. And so during that time, I relaxed. I got to visit my family. It was amazing. And then I actually ended up getting a job as a personal trainer, because working out has always been a passion of mine. And then my sister had her first baby, and we were thinking we want to be close to family. And then I've always really been interested in marketing. I've always really been interested in Instagram specifically. And so I started helping her with her Instagram, and I put together this thing. And then I was like, well, why don't I redesign your logo? Because I know
she was helping me, by the way. She was helping
you.
Me.
Yeah, I know. I am. Yeah, I got it.
And then it just kind of morphed into, okay, what am I going to do when I move back to Grants Pass? Right. And it just happened to be well, if you want to work with me, I was like, I don't see myself working for someone else anymore, honestly. Because even as a personal trainer, I was still kind of managing my own schedule for a year as I was doing that. So I really got used to that. And so I was like, yeah, I'll work with you. That sounds really fun. And then we put together a new brochure, and we completely rebranded the company. It's just grown from there. So that's kind of my experience and how I got into it. It just kind of happened. It wasn't okay, let's plan this. It was do you want to? I was like, sure. Sounds fun. And then here we are today. So
you got a piece of corporate, really. You got a piece of corporate world, and you decided that just wasn't for you. I read tons of books about entrepreneurs and just really keeping your mind sharp. So the metamorphosis of the Clutter Bee has been very exciting to watch. You do have people admire you from afar, whether they tell you every day or you hear it often. But I've just been really impressed with how you guys have developed in your company. So now that we've gotten the little background from you guys, tell me about your company. Tell me how you help, because really that's what you're doing. You're helping individuals organize their lives. Tell me specifically the services you guys have to offer.
Yeah, so we are professional home organizers, so we do help folks with that. But more so, we are geared and are doing a lot of relocations for families and for, you know, all ages of relocations. And that's how we've been marketing ourselves in our Instagram world and other things that we do, more of the relocation side of it. But we have a podcast now, and that is more toward the organizing part of it, you know, and helping people with different strategies of organizing. It's very interesting trying to describe how to organize something through voice. You know, so I'm having a lot of fun with that. And we have 3 episodes up now, and it just went on platform last week. So we have that, but we have the 2 services that we consider to be separate. However, in our relocations, we still do all the organizing, and that's one thing that we really love. And then we have, you know, when we're moving someone in, we pack them up, we do all the packing, we bring in all the packing materials, and then we coordinate the moves, and then we set them up in their new home, and we do all the unpacking and setup. And that is where the fun part begins. You know, we get to style the home as we go. We hang all the artwork, we make the beds, we set up the kitchens and the bathrooms. And
they give you like 100%, I trust you, do what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, normally, yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind
really
of like an artist, like, here, just do what you do, right?
Yeah, here's a blank canvas, now paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like when I go to get my hair cut, or if I go somewhere and I'm not sure, I'm like, just do you.
Exactly.
Do
That's how we
do you. And
Yeah.
I trust people that have been doing things for a very long time to just do what they do, right? And so I think that's awesome that you guys have that opportunity just to go with the blank slate. And Stetson, this is where your you know, design expertise comes in. And I love how you guys are, it's women supporting women. And I'm all 100% like for women. And I just love your relationship. I just love what you do. Your Instagram, like I mentioned earlier, is on point.
Thank you.
So on point. I love it. And another thing that you guys do in your Instagram is you acknowledge other artists, other organizers. And I think that's really important that you're not only, well, there's my next question. Where do you get your inspiration? That's where I wanted to go. Where do you get your
gosh, you know, we are inspired all the time, and we've had this constant flow of inspiration, like, oh, let's do that, and we're going to do this. And we just did a 4-hour workshop yesterday on Zoom, teaching people how to create, develop, and launch an online program in 3 days, like we have done, because we have our senior relocations coaching program where we teach other organizers how to add the service of senior relocations into their current services, which we have found keeps a more continuous flow of revenue in for a home organizing business, because it's sort of seasonal. You know, summertime's come around and people want to go out and play and go on vacation, you know, prior to the crisis. And so home organizers, they got really slow during that time. But however, when you're doing relocations, that tends to be a more busy time. So we did a workshop, which is on top of Stetson's Graham Growth class, that we taught a group full of women how to implement, you know, how to create an online program. We did that.
Yeah, I think for us, it's really all about community. And you can see that when you look at our Instagram, and that's kind of like how we were able to build our Instagram kind of quickly, is because we really reach out to other business owners. We get to know them, right? We're really creating those relationships, and we're all about supporting other people. Later on today, we're doing a giveaway. I didn't even tell you, Mom, but we're doing a giveaway with 5 other professional organizers on our Instagram. And so it's really, and so that's where, right, it's all about community. It's all about helping support other entrepreneurs, other business owners. And then that's like another side of our business as well. When we're not in our, local community or traveling, doing moves, we have that online programs that we've been doing that helps entrepreneurs, that helps professional organizers grow their business. So we actually have that side of our business as well that we've built up throughout the last maybe 6 months or so. Well, over a year, I would say. So we do have that. But yeah, you're right. It's really all about community for us. And
yeah, we have such a strong passion for helping others succeed and women helping women. I mean, that is our why. We want to help as many women entrepreneurs, or those that want to be, they don't have the confidence or they don't think they can. What can we do to help you and just get you inspired to, for someone else, our inspiration? Let's inspire you. We believe in you. We want to help you.
I think the word is giving other people permission.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Giving people
exactly.
permission to be who they are. And I feel, I read a book recently, I'm reading it, called Joy Seeker, and she talks about being okay with you. And there's a lot of people that are not okay with who they are. And it affects so many areas of their life, from their business to their relationships with their people. And so I think that's great that you recognize that. And I'm right there with you. But and that was one of the reasons, I wanted to hear more about you. But I know that COVID has affected a lot of people in our community in Grants Pass. And I was thinking, who can I reach out to so I can share what you guys are doing? This is something that the new donut shop, the Magic Donut, when he opened up, I went over there and like, share what you do. Why are you doing this? I'm in real estate, but I also have to know everything. I have to know.
You're a people person.
Yeah, I have to know who's doing what. And I genuinely love people. I love the information that you give me, because then myself, I grow as a person. And when I grow, everything around me is going to grow, because I'm not the type to keep things to myself. Doesn't matter what it is. I want to share it, right?
I love that.
So giving women, and if not leaving any men out, I'm not at all. But when I see somebody starting from the bottom with an idea and work their way up, up that ladder, and it's not that we ever stay right here. We never stay right here. If you stay right here, then you might as well just give up, in my opinion. There's always room for us to grow. And that's what you guys are doing, building other businesses up. And in return, Napoleon Hill and Earl Nightingale, they talked about reaping what you sow.
Yes, we're
that book.
fans.
That's it.
In fact, I've got Think and Grow Rich sitting right here at my desk.
I'm literally using it to prop up my computer, so it's higher under my computer. Oh God,
I love that book. I think any business owner, anybody wanting to go into any kind of endeavor outside of the corporate world, I think it's a really great book to read. Because it causes and forces us to think outside of the box that we were put in.
Yes.
At a very young age, we were put in this box.
Yes.
And
very well said.
I've never fit in that box.
And we haven't either. Our box,
I've never fit in it. And
we're too big for our box.
For a long time, I was like, I want to fit in that box. I want to fit in that box.
Yeah.
And after a while, and it took a long time. It's really embarrassing to say that it took a long time for me to say, no, I don't belong in that box, and who I am is okay. And if people are in that box, I don't downplay them at all. That's where they want to be, right? It's who they are. But I'm just not that type, and I love to be with other people that think that way, because I think together we grow even more.
Yeah.
So is that the book that you were going to share?
No, as far as my favorite book, my favorite book of all time, at least right now.
I was going to say the same. It's just too good. If you haven't read this, you're going to love it. Or
You Are a Badass, it's probably backwards. You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero.
It's so great.
It's my all-time favorite. I've got it in book form and audio as well.
And it actually, because we, now that you brought up the Think and Grow Rich book and stuff, like that's kind of where like our success and our growth has come from our company, because we do a lot of personal development. We do a lot of workshops. Like we're always reading, we're always constantly learning. And so I think that's why we've been able to expand and still expand, like, and grow so quickly. Yeah. So the You Are a Badass at Making Money book, it actually talks about the same principles that are in Napoleon Hill's book. Yeah. It's just a little bit more like chill, and it's just so funny. And it's just,
have you listened to
it's just super good.
His audio. Okay, YouTube has a lot of Napoleon Hill's teachings, like in 15-minute segments.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah.
And when I put them on, my kids and my husband, I'm like, how do you not fall asleep?
I know, his voice is so deep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I haven't read the book that we just talked about, the You Are Badass Making Money, but I listened to it on Audible on Audible. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying it's just so fun, because her voice is so like upbeat and funny, and she makes jokes and stuff. But
and it's read by her, and she's taken all of this knowledge and just made it from her own language and what she's understood. And just to give you a little tidbit on her, she didn't get her act together until she was well into her 40s.
Yeah.
She was living in a garage, and she just decided one day, I'm tired of living this way. I want to figure out how to get my butt in gear and make some money.
But isn't that the same thing you did?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's the same thing. I pretty much was the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Tired.
Look at the history of like Oprah Winfrey, same thing. She's got this very same story, that of not fitting in her box. The same story you just shared. She always knew there was more for her.
Exactly.
But all the forces around her kept telling her she needed to stay in this little box, and this is what your destiny is. Mm-hmm. She didn't believe that. And so and her whole story, I'm sure you're very familiar with Oprah's story, but here she is today, again, helping women and supporting women and giving them the permission to allow themselves, because it was been an uphill battle for women to fight their way to where we are now. And so she continues to support. She's one of our idols too, is Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting because, as I said, we do a lot of studying, and we're constantly learning. We're constantly doing workshops, and we did this free challenge recently. It was put on by another entrepreneur. It was called the Rise Up Challenge, but they had like the top most successful business owners all over the world. They're billionaires, millionaires, come on, and it was this free event for entrepreneurs, and they just talked for like 15 minutes. And I think it was really interesting to see how, when you really start to look at all of these successful entrepreneurs, they all think the same, and they all have gone through something. Like they've all, like Jesse Itzler, he inspired me so much. He stayed on 18 of his friends' couches, and on the last 18th couch, he developed this multi-billion dollar company, and he took that, and he sold it like 3 years later for billions of dollars. And it's like everyone had to hit that rock bottom, or everyone had to be like, what the heck is going on, right? I can't pay my bills, I can't do this, whatever it might be, to step back. And I think what's going on right now in the world is everyone's kind of been forced to like make a paradigm shift because they're stuck in their house, and they really have to take a look at themselves and be like, is this what I actually want to do? Like, am I happy with what I'm doing right now? Do I want to go back to that full-time job after this is all over, or do I not? And I think everyone's going through that right now, which I think is actually one of the positives out of this.
Oh, yeah.
Because not many people ask themselves, like, what do I actually want to do?
Yeah. Because they're so stuck in their busyness, they're so stuck in their career and the day-to-day doings of that career or family life, or combined of, the kids were in sports and dance. And so, they had the routine, which became very comfortable. And then, but it's a delicate balance. So, you tip one thing to the scale, off the other direction. And then everything gets out of balance. So everybody just maintained that. But then when that all went away, then now they have time to self-reflect. And so many people are feeling like, hey, I don't think I want to do that anymore. I can now do my business from home. Why am I renting this building? All of these
well,
things.
even
people to be creative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it allowed them that time to be creative. So like you said earlier, and everybody was cleaning their house, I think, which is true, because now they can catch up. But then when the house is all clean and all the projects are done,
what do you do?
I'm going to self-reflect here. And that life coaches are busier now than ever. And we have mentors and we have life coaches and one in particular, but they're busier than ever because that's what people are looking for right now. They're looking how to discover, okay, I have something in me. Now what can I do with it? It's here. I feel like this time has been a blessing. It's stripped away all that busyness and has given everyone a chance to look within. It's kind of cool.
So probably about 2 years ago, I began, like you mentioned the word stripping, I began the stripping process in my life and just began to look at where I was. So I'm a successful business owner, and things were really well, but I wasn't content within myself. And so this process of finding me and my identities as a mom, as a business owner, as a wife, and how do I manage these things and not lose myself, right? And that was the thing that I lacked, I think, throughout my whole life, is like I am a stay-at-home mom, and that's what I am. I am a mom, I am a wife, and that's what I am. But as an individual, I didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned about Oprah, it was like what people said that I was. And then I said, okay, well, that's what I am. Even though I knew it wasn't right.
Yeah.
And I feel like this has a lot to do with like the organization process. And I seen an interview, Stetson, where you mentioned that people, when you were moving, it was a lot harder for you to get rid of the things when you were moving because it was your stuff. But when you were going and helping other people, you're like, hey, you don't need that. You don't need
right, exactly. Yeah, you're not emotionally attached when you're moving someone else's stuff. Like, and it wasn't as hard for me to set up my, working from home. This is what we get. No, but this is, it wasn't as hard to it's not as hard to set up other people's homes as well, because we can just be like, yes, that picture is going to look great there. Yes. And then when it's your own things, you're like, oh, look at this. Remember I got it in, and then and it's not necessarily a bad thing to reflect, but then you're like, okay, 30 minutes later, do I want to hang it here? I don't know. Let's see. Do I want to hang it here? And so that's why it's a lot, that's why I think we have so much success helping other people, because they're like, just step back, you can relax, we're going to take care of it. And then once you come home, by the end of the day, everything is going to be set up, right? And they don't have to worry about it. It just takes the stress out of it.
Yeah. Do you have conversations with them prior to where you're digging these things out of them and helping them release their stuff? Or is it they're just at that point just don't care and they've thrown their hands up?
It's interesting when we do a relocations job for a senior, for example, and they have to downsize from their house. They're living in a house for 60 years. They raised their kids there and they have all these memories and all this stuff. So we always focus on the positive first, which is getting them settled into their new home first. And then it's interesting when someone is moving, because that's when somebody wants to really go through that process of downsizing and get rid of things. But we get them settled into their new home first, and we make it look all pretty and fabulous and organized. And then when they go back to their home where they have to deal with the things, it's so much easier for them to say, I don't need that anymore, because it's not going to fit.
They've already seen like how their new home is set up, and wow, we really connect to our clients, and we really figure out what the most important things are to them, right? You can really when we work with them, and each of them are different, you can really see each of our clients are different. You can really see, yes, this is so important to me. And yes, I really love this, but so-and-so gave it to me and I couldn't get rid of it. But, you know, you can really start to see. And so we feature those most important things when we're setting up their home on the other side. So we really built up that connection. We get to know them. And then when we set up their home and it's all finished, it's just icing on the cake. And as you were saying, Mom, it's a lot easier for them to get rid of things after, because their most important things are in their home, they're set up, they're featured, and then it's a lot easier for them to get rid of the things that they've left behind or that they need to deal with.
And when they're struggling through something, like we're in the decision-making process of any kind of downsizing, or where people have to get rid of things, and they've now made the decision, I've got to get rid of some stuff here. But we also, when they're struggling, like what Stetson just said, they're like, well, they're starting to feel the guilt about something that they're holding on to because somebody gave it to them. Mm-hmm. And if it was an article of clothing or a little knickknack or, you know, whatever it is, they're struggling because they feel guilty. So we give them that permission to let it go. Like, it's okay. Mm-hmm. It's okay. And if they need some kind of tools of just, you know, be grateful that you have that friend that gave that to you. And what's really matters to you is the memory of that friend, not the actual item. So it's okay. We have lots of little tricks that we use to help people make that decision, and they make it quickly, because really what they need, it goes back to permission again. I need to give myself permission to let this go and not feel guilty about it. And it's okay. So we help them along the way all the time. Yeah.
There's, I know that my mom had, she's actually within the last 5 years, just, or maybe even more, she met with a lady she was driving the train home, and they were chatting about preparing your family for when you leave. Mm-hmm. And so my mom just was like, I can't leave this for them to have to deal with. Mm-hmm. So she's been, as best as she can, getting rid of the things that, you know, that stuff that she was just holding on to. And, you know, I think it's what you guys are doing to help prepare people for their next final stages, you know, to help them feel more comfortable, I think is really great. And, you know, I wish you so much more success than where you're at right now, because like I mentioned earlier, what you give, and you give a ton, is going to come back to you. Do you have anything else that you want to share? One of the questions that I had was your future expansions. Are you?
Oh yeah, about our building and things. Yeah. I think you want to know. Yeah, we rented the building, which is a great location, and people text us or they'll honk and wave. Sometimes we'll be sitting in there with masks on right now, like we were in there yesterday and we had masks on. But we rented the building in January, and we love our office building. One day we're going to have an open house for greeters, people to come in, but we love it and we feel so creative in there. But as far as expansion, right before the crisis happened, we were starting to spread our service into the Medford area in a big way. And we have our employee, Teddy, that was actively going out and reaching those people and just spreading the word about the Clutter Bee. So our expansion is there. But during this COVID time, we are focusing on bringing our business more into an online presence. And Stetson could probably share a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of how we've been able to still grow and still be successful during this time. We've done some moves, but we haven't done nearly as many moves. Like, we've done maybe 2 moves throughout this, right? So, I mean, we did have to take a hard look at, okay, what do we need to focus on? Because we're all business owners and we all need to bring in revenue. We have these new expenses. We have our building that we didn't have before. And so I think we were very lucky in January when I launched my first online program of how to teach other business owners how to grow their Instagram and excel. We were very lucky to kind of already get our feet wet in the digital world. And we had our senior relocations coaching program that we launched about a year ago, and we're about to launch it for the 4th time. And so that's where our focus has really been throughout this stay at home. We've all been, locked in. We haven't been able to go out and actually help our clients as much. So we've really turned more into the digital world. We're constantly, like we just did a 4-hour workshop yesterday. Every single week we seem to be launching some new program or some workshop or something. But that's kind of where our passion is as well, you know. So if we can't help our clients in our local community and help them, because everyone's kind of still on lockdown, we're still doing that online, and we're still helping business owners be successful during this time. So we're definitely, we're always growing, we're always learning, and we're always in that expansion process. And we just kind of feel like everything happens for a reason. So once this all, you know, dies down a little bit, we'll see where our company is and where we want to take that. But it's just really exciting. And I feel like we're busier than ever during this time, even though we've been stuck at home.
Really great information to share. So I can see how you'd be busy. People want you on their, you know, their channels and stuff like that. Anything else that I didn't touch on already, or anything that's on your heart that you want to share?
I just, you know, just to say how much we enjoy helping other people grow and succeed. Again, it's a passion of ours, and that's our why. And we're going to continue to grow in whatever way we're meant to grow. So we don't really know what's happening. We just feel like we're being guided along, but we're on the right path, and we have the right tools that we need to get to wherever it is we're going. But yeah, our passion to continue to help others succeed and grow.
Definitely. Yeah, thank you so much. This has been so fun.
This has been fun, Mona. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, in the real estate world, it's the same thing. You know, we've gone, and never in a million years ever thought that I would say I sold a house by a virtual video.
Yeah, right.
Right. And so a lot of people that are just kind of stuck in the way things have always been, you know, not being open to the ideas of virtual anything. Those are the people right now in any area of business that are going to suffer the most. And so for you guys to offer this online to, you know, to help other businesses, I think is a very smart thing to do. I really appreciate your time. I know it's very valuable. I'm going to ask you guys to send me all your links to all your social media so I can put it in the comments. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll see you on YouTube.
Yeah, you know, we're always some new every week. So I'm sure it's definitely Yeah.
You never know.
Once we can get together and we don't have to wear masks, I think that's when we'll start. But who knows? It might be a good introduction to have both of us.
I'm just thinking, like, maybe record yourself doing your podcast.
Yeah, you know, I've seen people doing that, or vice versa. They've got their YouTube videos and they're becoming their podcast. So, you know, vice versa. But yeah, we're dabbling with all of that.
Well, I'm excited. Let me know when you have it up and I'll share it.
Okay. Thank you, Mona.
No problem.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a great day, guys.
You too. Bye, Mona.
Bye.